The following podcast is a deep, shallow dive production.
Okay, let's go.
Sometimes the hardest things in life is admitting to an uncomfortable truth. It's a simple statement, yet it carries the weight of an entire universe of unspoken feelings, unresolved issues, and the very essence of what it means to be human. This uncomfortable truth for me started in March 2020. But don't worry, this book is not about that. Not at all. But it is about the awakening that caused in me and the awakening that I hope this book will cause in you. Here's my goal with this book. I want you to have a more authentic relationship with yourself. To quote Steve Jobs, I want you to realize that everything that takes place in this life and this world is being created and done by people who are no smarter than you are. I want to awaken all your senses. I want to awaken you. Happy New Year, everybody. January 2nd. So first of all, I hope everybody had a wonderful New Year holiday. I hope you had a safe and good time on New Year's Eve, whatever it is that you did. And I hope you got a chance to spend some quality time with your family and friends over the holidays. Hope you got to recharge a little bit. Hope you got to enjoy yourself a little bit, catch some sports, some great bowl games, whatever it is that you enjoy doing. I hope you got a chance to do all that. You know, I put out a couple episodes towards the end of last year, kind of recap episodes, and then yesterday, just a trailer to talk about season 2 here in terms of the deep, shallow dive. And there's a lot of good stuff coming. So that opening clip that I read this time, as opposed to having one of my Ray D AI buddies do that, is part of the introduction of the book that is in the final edit stage. So that's kind of exciting. And it's called Deep Shallow Dive Into You. And I thought maybe for the next week or so, who knows, maybe I'll read a little bit from various chapters at the beginning of these episodes. But what's cool about the book and what I hope you will enjoy about it is it really has nothing to do with geopolitics. So it's not going to cover any of these topics that we talk about or that we've talked about consistently. Rather, it talks about how I kind of used that geopolitical situation to kind of wake myself up a little bit and wake myself up about my personal life and about all the things, outside of politics, but the other things that really at the end of the day matter so much more. So anyway, I think you're going to enjoy it. It's definitely going to be more of a way to really, garner that authentic relationship with yourself, which honestly I strive to do. I continue to strive to do that on a daily basis. So authenticity, integrity, personal growth, resilience, it's going to touch on all that stuff. All right, so what I wanted to do today is really try to set the stage for 2024. And, in this episode, it's going to be a 712 episode, kind of on the shorter side. I just wanted to share some things that I do and then also talk a little bit about ChatGPT, because I think in 2024 it can be a tremendous, tremendous resource to you. But again, I wanted to share some things that I do at the beginning of the year, and I don't know, they work for me, so I thought I would share it. So let's start off in talking about our health, because honestly, I really do want to talk about health a lot more this year. It's an incredibly important topic to me on a personal level, and then aside from that, it's just ridiculously important, because if you don't feel well and you're not in good health, nothing else matters. You can literally have all the money in the world and the most wonderful of everything. But man, if you can't enjoy that with your health, with good health, does it really matter? I don't think so. So let's start off with that. All right, track your weight. If you don't want to weigh yourself ever through the course of the year, do it today, literally, or do it this week. Just if you don't own a scale, gosh, I know people who don't own a scale. I can let you borrow one of my 5 scales if you like. But if you don't own a scale, I don't know whether it's at your gym or maybe a friend or a neighbor who owns a scale. Try and go over there ideally in the morning. I like to weigh myself first thing in the morning, really before I even have a cup of coffee or anything. But just get a weight. Just trust me on this. Just get a baseline weight for yourself and take that number. And I'll be very authentic. Today for me was 148. I weighed 148, which I'm okay with. I'd like to get back down to my 144 sophomore year boxing Alpha Delta Phi fight night weight, which I will try. But weigh yourself and put that in your iPhone, your Samsung, whatever, as a note. I take a lot of iPhone notes with my phone. So just put in a event on your calendar or put it in an iPhone note. Actually, putting it as an event on your calendar is a great idea. And I talk about this in the book, but one of the things I really do is, man, I track everything in my Apple and Google Calendar, and I have them synced to one another. So if I make an input in the Apple Calendar on my iPhone, the iCal, they call it, it shows up on my Google Gmail calendar and then vice versa. And that way, if I'm using one of my smart devices or one of my speakers, I'm not going to say it because it's going to go off, but I say that name and I say add such and such to my calendar, and it does that. Those end up adding it to my Google Calendar. If I use my HomePod, it'll add it to my Apple Calendar, but then those things are all syncing simultaneously and updating each other. So take your weight, and then in the event, you could literally write the word weight and then space dash and then put what your weight is. And I use keywords like that on personal entries in my calendar because it makes search very easy. So for example, in addition to having a separate family calendar that I manage my mom's stuff on, if there is something related to my mom, I will start off the event inside my calendar with mom and then either colon or a dash. And then that way, whenever I need to search inside my calendar, I just search on mom and it'll bring up all those entries. It makes things a lot easier. So track your weight. Even if you don't do it all year, just do it one time. And again, ideally, you can get access to a scale really anytime this week. I think if you can track it anytime this week, that would be great. All right, tip number 2, and I literally did this for myself this morning, but make your annual doctor's appointment. I don't know if everybody gets annual physicals. I'll be very honest, I haven't got one in a few years, and that's not good, actually. That's not good, but I'm going to admit that. But I'm going to get one this year. So I made my appointment. I'm going to go in for, an annual physical with my doctor. I did request prior that he send in a complete blood test so I can go into that doctor's appointment with having given blood, and then we can analyze, all the test results from my blood work. So I have a baseline of where my cholesterol is, my HDL, which is the good cholesterol, LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, triglycerides. Triglycerides are incredibly important and probably the least well-known of the cholesterol blood markers, but that measures the amount of fat in your blood. And so that's an important number to have. I want to understand where my blood sugar is. So my glucose level while I'm fasting, and then that'll give you really your blood sugar from the day before, but then they'll also do a HA1C test, which is a more accurate test to give you your blood sugar levels fasting over a certain time frame. It's actually a 3-month time frame, and that test is called the A1C or HA1C, hemoglobin A1C. The other thing that you should absolutely do if you don't know already is, do you know your blood type? A lot of people don't know their blood type. We talked about this in a previous episode, but try and get your blood type and just ask when you're getting your blood drawn, tell them that you want to know what your blood type is. So Once again, I am AB positive, universal platelet donor. Any of you that needs platelets, let me know. I got you on that. Okay, so in addition to your weight, in addition to making a doctor's appointment, if you are at a CVS, Rite Aid, Walmart, wherever, and they have one of those blood pressure machines, take your blood pressure. I'm actually going to do that today. I have to go take care of a couple things, and I'm going to pop into one of those, and I'm going to take my blood pressure on that. I also have my own blood pressure cuff here at the house, so I'm going to do that as well because I do want to kind of see what the comparison of the two are. But that's another thing that I will make an iPhone calendar event. I'll put down what my blood pressure is for today, and I'll have that so I can track that as well. Last thing on the health stuff that I think would make a lot of sense to track for today, or again, this week, let's treat this as week 1 in terms of 2024 is, just write down anything else that's bothering you, anything else that really you have issues with outside of tracking your weight and then getting your blood test results. Write that down so we can have a record of that. Again, I personally am a huge fan of putting all this stuff into my phone, into my calendar, and creating events, and then using the key search terms in the event. So you could even put you can create an event for today or create an event this week and call it health, and then colon, and then just write anything else. If there's anything else that's bothering you, if you have any skin-related issues, if you have stomach issues, digestive issues, overall, I think it's really a good idea to just catch a snapshot of your health today or this week. Really give yourself the entire week if you want. Because again, we can check against this. Maybe we'll check against this every quarter. We'll definitely check against it maybe at the 6-month interval, and then definitely at the end of the year. All right, shifting gears, another little tip I do, which actually ends up helping me out when it comes to tracking my mileage on my cars. So if you have a car or multiple cars or whatever you have, just take a picture of your odometer today so you know how many miles your car is at the beginning of this year. I mean, obviously we missed yesterday maybe, but that's okay. Just take a picture or write it down. Again, maybe also create a calendar event. I probably will do that. I'll take a photo of my odometers, and then I will create a calendar event that says car mileage, and then I'll list out the mileages. So I know how many miles were on the vehicles at the beginning of the year. And then that way I know how many miles I've driven by the end of the year. All right, last thing I want to do for today is talk a little bit about ChatGPT. Obviously, when it comes to this and then overall artificial intelligence, AI, whether it's the 11 Labs voices or other things, again, I am a fan of this stuff. I really am. I think it's pretty incredible. And once you understand how to converse and talk and prompt ChatGPT, it'll really unleash a power as well as efficiency and productivity to you as you're trying to accomplish various things that I think you'll really enjoy. So if you have not tried it, I really encourage you today or this week to really try it. And it's very easy. And ironically, I asked ChatGPT, I said, hey, by the way, I want to help a friend get started with ChatGPT. Can you give me easy directions on what to tell him or her? And then ChatGPT replied. So that was the prompt. That I typed in. And so ChatGPT replied, certainly, helping your friend get started with ChatGPT is a straightforward process. Here are some simple steps you can share with them. Visit the OpenAI website. Direct your friend to visit the OpenAI website, www.openai.com. So again, I'll put this in the show notes as well, but www.openai as in Apple India, or I should say artificial intelligence, openai.com. That's the official site for ChatGPT. They also have an awesome iPhone and I'm sure Android app, which is amazing. So now you can have it on your phone and then all of your activities sync simultaneously. Anyway, from there, you can sign up, you can access it, you can start chatting. More on that a little bit later, but I really do encourage everybody just to try it. And again, the best advice I can give you is not to treat ChatGPT like search. It's not like Google search, like find Thai food near me. Instead, treat it like you're having a conversation. Hey, pretend you're having a conversation with me. Just talk to it and prompt it as if you're having a conversation. And I'll give you the example, and I'm going to put this prompt in the show notes as well. And you could literally do this and have it give you an answer. So earlier I want to start off 2024 by tracking some really important things when it comes to my health and to my life. An example of this would be tracking my weight. Another example would be tracking the mileage of my car. Can you give me a nice list of ideas for things I can track? So that was my prompt. So as you see inside that prompt, I gave ChatGPT the example of tracking my weight. I gave it the example of tracking the mileage on my car. And then from there, it said, certainly, starting 2024 with a focus on tracking key aspects of your health and life is a great idea. Here are some ideas for things you can track. And then it broke it down for me in categories: health and fitness, mental and emotional health, personal finance, professional development, automobile maintenance, hobbies and leisure, and then social and family life. So as you see, it added the automobile maintenance, probably because I included that in the prompt. I don't know if it would have given me that answer had I not given that as an example in the prompt. But anyway, you can play around with it from there. All right, everybody, that is it for today. I think this week is kind of a chill week for everybody. I know a lot of school systems are not back in school this week, so the kids are running around enjoying their last week of freedom prior to going back to school. So I'm going to keep this week's podcasts relatively short, try to be under 20 minutes overall on everything, and just ease us back into it. But I'm really looking forward to this year. I'm really looking forward to, bringing guests on, which is something I'm working on right now. I am looking forward to doing videos, which will enhance the YouTube channel and then also go all over social media in terms of, talking about key things that we talk about during these episodes. But then I'm also going to really critique a lot of the stuff I see out there, because honestly, I'm not going to lie. My BS radar is really good, and I can cut through a lot of the narratives. Now that I've been at this, I mean, gosh, overall for several years now, but even the last 4 months of 2023 with the podcast, I really feel like I've honed in on, being able to see through people's narratives. And I want to start calling that stuff out. I really do, because we live in such a influenced world, and, we need to be influenced by the right people. And we need to call out those that are trying to influence people, for their own benefit and for their own narrative. So some of the videos that I'm going to do are really going to be critiquing with facts and with data and with knowledge, certain things that maybe certain very, very well-known people are saying. And it's all going to come from a positive, good place. And it's really more about, generating discussion and generating healthy discussion. We really need to get back to, I'm going to say back to like 2008, 2009, 2005, 2012, maybe even. But back when we could have a disagreement, agree, disagree, or agree to disagree, but we were not losing friendships over that stuff. We were not getting visceral and going from 0 to 100 in 2 seconds. And unfortunately, that is one of the downsides of these social media platforms, is they really do bring out the hater in people. They really do. They bring out the hater in people. And so hopefully with all the things we talk about, we can try and, balance that a little bit. All right, everybody, have a great day. Call a spade, and looking forward to a great 2024 together.
That was a great way to end it.
This episode was brought to you by Boost Liquid Vitamins. Wake up, take your Boost, start your day. Drink your vitamins, build your immune system with Boost. Available on Boost.com.